Some Democrats say, you talk about helping the children, that this is a humanitarian crisis above all else, and the key is to help the children. Senate Democratic leader Harry Reid blames you, attacked you this week, saying radical Republicans are trying to hold these kids ransom, and then he said this.
Had we done comprehensive immigration reform, we wouldn't be having this issue. And everyone here, the border is secure.
Senator, your reaction?
Well, you know, President Obama and Harry Reid both engage in debates divorced from the facts and divorced from the reality. Harry Reid lives in the Ritz-Carlton in Washington, D.C., and I'm sure from his perspective the border seems secure. I would invite Harry Reid to come with me down to Texas and see the border. On the border, we are seeing the opposite of following the law. The border is not secured. 90,000 children are expected to come into this country illegally this year, and Harry Reid says the border is secure. I'll tell you who's holding these kids ransom is Harry Reid and the president, because their view is don't do anything to fix the problem. He mentions comprehensive immigration reform. The Gang of Eight bill is one of the causes of this problem, because what the kids are saying is they're coming because they believe they'll get amnesty. Part of the Gang of Eight bill was promising them amnesty.
You keep talking about helping the kids. One question I have is, how do you help the kids? I understand how it helps the United States not to allow them to come into this country. How does it help the kids to just say, hey, you got to stay in Central America? You talk about the violence in Central America, the murder rate in some of these countries. I'm not saying it's our responsibility to help the kids, but it doesn't help the kids.
Because a child being entrusted to a vicious drug dealer is being horrifically mistreated. You know, several weeks ago I was down at Lackland Air Force Base, where there are about 1,200 children being kept there. And a senior official there described to me how these drug dealers, they have these kids, and sometimes in the process of bringing them illegally to this country, they hold them for ransom. And they reach out to the families, they say, send more money. And if families won't send money, horrifically, they're cutting off body parts and sending it back to the families, and they're forcing little boys and little girls, they're putting a gun to the back of their head, and they're saying, cut off the fingers, cut off the ears of another child, and if the child refuses, they're shooting and killing that kid. And what this senior official said is we're having kids arrive here. Some of them are maimed, have been through horrific torture, and others have enormous psychological trauma from being forced to carry that out on pain of death. Continuing this regime where tens of thousands of kids are being brutalized by drug dealers is not humane, it's not compassionate, and that's what Harry Reid and the Democrats want to do. They don't want to fix the problem. They want to keep having children come in a situation where they're brutalized. That doesn't make any sense, and it's not consistent with rule of law.